Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Drawing Expressions, streaming here live on YouTube. I'm Parz. I'm the creative writing guy. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this, making this part of your creative journey. Yeah, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of creative writing, and we will talk about that in a minute. First off, this is live, and so, whatever happens, happens. Thankfully, I have never had a cat come screaming across the screen or anything like that, but I make mention of it because it could happen, because we're live. As you might see in the chat, Alicia is not feeling all that great, and so I'm watching chat, so I won't be responding in the comments, but I will be reading them. So please do say hi, reach out, let us know that you're there. Let's see what else. Oh, one more thing before we dive in. So it is Songkran here in Thailand. It is one of the big holidays. It's sort of like Christmas and Easter and all sorts of things all wrapped up into one. When you hear about the water fights and whatnot that happen, that is now. So yeah, and it's also kind of like a flower festival and spring and rejuvenation and whatnot. And it's in the middle of the hot season, which makes it kind of funny because we are scheduled for rain for the entire time that Songkran will be happening. 1 second. Yes, I am. You might be lagging. That is my tech support upstairs, who is not getting the live currently for some strange reason. But hi, I'm here. And I look over and I've got a TV and I can see myself there as well. So anyways, sorry, small technical issue. We're good. And moving on. So here we go. Things to know. And the one thing that I'd like to impress when we're doing this is we are the house of guidelines. Guidelines bend, rules break. Rules have their place, but not when we're dealing with the creative work that we do. This is the realm of guidelines. So if it works, something works for you, great. Oh, sound is echo-ish. Let me see now here. Let's see if that fixes it. I've just got a small fan on my side here, so maybe that will help deal with things. Also, my throat is it is smoky season, and so I am a little croaky. Okay. Not yet. All right, so I'm going to turn my fan back on because it's unpleasant enough to not have it going. Yeah, I don't know what I can do to fix that sound. Actually, let me try one more thing. I'll just kick that down just ever so slightly. Maybe you're getting a little bit of feedback, or when the gain is too high. So maybe that'll help to fix things. Just knocking down my sound ever so slightly. Okay. Anyways, guidelines. So we do operate with guidelines. We don't operate with rules. If something works, great. If something doesn't work, great. That's what we trim. Okay. And thank you, Alicia, for letting me know that the sound is fine on your end. Okay. I do like to break up these lives into two sections, the planner and the pantser section, to honor the different kinds of writers. In the planner section, we're going to be looking at our everyday lives and using them as prompts for fantastic or fantastical stories. And in the pantser section, I want to share a little bit about my longhand writing journey and why I think it's kind of cool. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath with me. Here we go. And I forgot to count. So I'm going to restart. Let's try that again. Let's inhale together, please. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Big breath in. And a little stretch. Warm up the body. Warm up the mind. Okay. Now I feel like I'm ready to do a bit of writing, and I hope you are too. So, what is it that we're doing today in the planner section? Well, we're going to be taking little pieces of real life or things that we make up that look like real life and using them as a prompt to make it more of a fantastical story. And what do I mean by that? Well, there are all sorts of different ways that we can write a particular story. And using our own day-to-day experience, we can certainly tell a story that way. So if we're telling a friend that we went to the grocery store and bought salad, okay? So go to the store, got in the car, drove to the store, went in the store, bought the salad, went to the checkout, left, paid, left, went back home. I tell the bit of the day. It's news. I've given you sort of like, the important, like the where and the when, and the, all your sort of your newsy types of things. The who, what, where, when. And then you get into it a little bit more, the why, and then even deeper, the how. But we can do a different kind of thing. We can say, what if instead we take that same journey as our prompt and we alter it and we change it? And we can change it in a whole bunch of different ways. So for instance, we could say each of the things that we do, it's like a living animal type of thing. So instead of getting in the car, we get on our horse. We ride to the store, and the people inside the store, they're all animals. Now, oftentimes, when we have a view like that, and particularly using animals, but we can do it in all sorts of different genres and different ways of looking at things, we can say, well, that's kind of that's like a kid's book. Why would I want to do something like that? And, we do have a lot of work that is just, it's kids stuff, like Beatrix Potter's Peter Rabbit, A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, Aesop's Fables, full of animals, cartoons, Bugs Bunny, full of animals, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, animals. But there are other writers who have put things out where that mechanism of using animals, it works, and it works really, really well. So for instance, Yann Martel, Canadian writer, who in 2001 wrote this book, Life of Pi. And most of the book is an exploration or a telling of a tale where there is a shipwreck, and there's the animals that are on board the life raft, and how he's going to be interacting with them. And so he's at sea for over 200 days, and he tells the tale about interacting with the animals and surviving before he's rescued. So we can use that type of thing into a story. And so as an example, let's see now here. I'm going to take, and I'm just going to, I've got things rearranged just a little bit. And so I get, there we go. Get this called up and share my screen. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do is to relate an event. So an early morning walk in my neighborhood and trying not to get all the dogs barking. Now, I can just relate that I go out and I do this, or I can add some fantastical setting. So I'm going to let sort of the environment of this story guide what it is that I do. So in this case, it's I want to be quiet. It's the walks typically are done before dawn. As I walk around, you're looking at neighbors' houses and yards and whatnot, and seeing what's changing, what's in flower, what's in, all this types of stuff. And dogs are like the alarm. So I'll just come back to here real quick. So dogs can sort of be out there and they can bark and alert the neighborhood that you're there. So what does that kind of feel like? Well, to me, in this instance, it feels like I could tell it like a spy story. So I'm sort of surreptitiously making my way through the neighborhood, gathering notes, and I'm going to send it back to headquarters. And since it's dogs that are alerting, what if it's a cat that's the spy? So as the sample, I wrote this. There's something comforting about the nighttime darkness that settles before dawn. I wear it like a cloak as I dart from shadow to shadow on my assigned patrol, noting neighborhood changes like a house renovation here, the trimming of a hedge there, counts of feral cats, poor devils, focused only on eating and procreating, while I have a higher purpose, and dogs, with lineages when possible. The best outcome is to make my notes without anyone noticing, so that no one is the wiser to my reconnaissance. Let sleeping dogs lie. That's the saying. Whoops, yeah, lie. But try as I might, I don't often achieve it. And when I'm detected by one of the canine alert monitors, it's transmitted repeatedly, aggressively, mockingly, the barking erupting from all quarters, telling me I've failed in my quest to remain hidden. Tail between my legs, I slink home. I assuage my disappointment with the thought that maybe, on the morrow, I'll manage to surreptitiously gather my intelligence. So there we go. So I've just related the story of a walk, but I've changed the setting and I've made it a bit, spyish, a cloak and dagger kind of a thing. And we can do that with our day-to-day. And so I'm going to invite you to join me in writing something that is going to fit into that reframing. Maybe you can use animals. Maybe you can change the genre. You can make it sort of sorcery and spells and medieval type of things, or you can set it into a well-known literary universe. Like Harry Potter is a great one, or any of them, really. If it comes to mind, try writing in that. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about something that happened in your life, either a day-to-day or just it's occurred once, ages ago or whatever. And 2, think about the circumstances and how it would fit into a setting that works for that type of thing. Whereas, like we just did the neighborhood, having a cat be a spy. Right? So give that a thought, make some notes, and I am going to have a sip of my iced coffee. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm going to get myself set up with a writing. Here we go. Okay. Like I said, I've rearranged things a little bit. Don't know how well they're working for me, but you'll see why I did it in a minute or two. Okay. So I am going to start writing my own story with a different genre. And so I'm going to give you brief history. And I don't know, maybe just share my screen. Okay. So what are the events that I want to relate? So I was martial arts student, and my sensei got audited tax-wise. So he asked me for help. And so there was this dichotomy of I am his student, but I am also this master who is going to be helping with this tax audit. In fact, it was a phone call. So there's this event that just happens. He's in my office. I make the call. So I am both master and student at the same time. And so to me, this really plays into that idea of like a martial arts kind of thing. And along with martial arts, sometimes you get these themes of like magic. So what if we play with that a bit? Okay, so with that, I'm just going to start off. Oops, student, master. Both simultaneously. Simultaneously. Oh, my spelling is bad today. Okay. Simultaneously. That was my thought at the time. Okay. So now I'm going to relate the event. Okay. 2 years prior, I'd stepped into a dojo, a place to learn arts of self-defense. Here we go. I'm going to add physical self-defense, and it was whispered. I'm going to go with spiritual self, spiritual power. Just go with that. And manifesting spiritual power. Okay, I think that's going to fit in nicely. Clad in white. Clad in white. Let's get the comma in there. Thank you. I learned how to move my body more fluidly, gracefully, powerfully. My primary instructor was a bear of a man, so I am using a little bit of an animal reference here, who radiated confidence and ability. He literally vibrated the air Oh, he vibrated. Here we do this. And the air rippled around him. And yet, today, he sits in front of me, vibrating, but not in confidence or secure in his power, but in fear, in palpable fear. Today, I'm the master. Asked by him to defeat a foe he can't grapple with. His weapons fists, feet, his entire body, really. Entire body here. I'm going to actually change that colon to a hyphen because so that I can come back to here. His entire useless in this fight. My weapons. Numbers, the law, and the knowledge that knowledge of my being in the right. So slide this up. A brief contest, and I emerge the victor. Whoops. Emerge the victor. And days later, I return to the dojo, clad in white, to learn more from the big bear. Okay. So there we go. So I'm just going to come back to the top here. So student, master, both simultaneously. That was my thought at the time. 2 years prior, I'd stepped into a dojo, a place to learn arts of physical self-defense, and, it was whispered, manifesting spiritual power. Clad in white, I learned how to move my body more fluidly, gracefully, powerfully. My primary instructor was a bear of a man who radiated confidence and ability. He literally vibrated in the air, rippled around him. And yet today he sits in front of me, vibrating, but not in confidence or secure in his power, but in palpable fear. Today I'm the master, asked by him to defeat a foe he can't grapple with. His weapons, fists, feet, his entire body, useless in this fight. My weapons, numbers, the law, and the knowledge of my being right. A brief contest, and I emerged the victor. And days later, I returned to the dojo, clad in white, to learn more from the big bear. So that is just the telling of a brief meeting in an office that I had when I was an accountant. And yeah, but I've changed it up to add a bit more of a flavor to it. A bit more, yeah, a bit more. I mean, there is a mention of magic, and it didn't really come out the rest of the way. And it could have, and we can certainly still add it in edit. But it's just a way to creatively describe the events without going through the tedium of what's the news. I just get to tell my story. And then I can take this and use it, publish it, manipulate it, edit it to my heart's content. And that's just the way we can develop a story from everyday, ordinary occurrences, or a thing that happened once. And that was this case here, happened once. And this is just the telling of that thing. I'm starting to stutter. Time for a sip. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to come back to the room and see how you're doing. How is everything? How did this story writing go for you? Did it make sense? Feel free to drop a line into chat if you'd like to share your story. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to drop it into a chat. Yeah. But I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned a little something. I hope this is inspired to try it out. Okay, so with that, I am going to move us over to the breathe and stretch. Okay, so let's take a nice deep breath in together. Here we go. And stretch. And I always have to remind myself, stretch a little. You don't want to hurt your back as you're cranking things around or whatever, which I managed to do at least once. Yeah, a little bit of a stretching of the forearms, palms. There we go. Okay, let me get my desktop out of my lap. Okay. Oh, and let's come back to the room. Don't need to see the breath and stretch it. Breathe and breath and stretch. Speaky, not my forte today. All right. So now it's time for the pantser section of the day. And I want to share with you my longhand journey and why. So first off, I am going to say that it's a little bit funny that the world is more and more turning towards AI and having the computer do more and more of writing and heavy lifting and whatnot. And here I am going the other way, more and more longhand. And now I've discovered the joy of fountain pens. And so I wanted to share a little bit with you, not the fact that I'm using the fountain pens, but how I'm using them. Because to me, this is sort of an interesting thing. So with that, I've got a setup on the side here, and that's why I've arranged things a little bit differently. I'm hoping this is going to work. In rehearsals, it worked great, but who knows what's going to happen now. So I am going to disappear. I am going to go into the, you'll see in the shot. So I'm just going to bring us over. Here we go. Hey, there it goes. Okay, it's working. So I'm going to move myself around and start to do this. So I've just got my notebook open and I've got my handy dandy case right here. And this holds my tools. And so what I've got is a few fountain pens here that I have started using in my day-to-day writing. That is so how I'm using them is like this. So first off, this is my #1 default pen that I use. This is a Pilot Vintage, and it's a tiger's eye finish, as you can see. The nib is a fine nib, and it uses, let's see, the Atramentus Fog Ray ink. And the reason I like this particular pen, this particular setup for my default writer, is that this is my default writer, is because the ink is, got closer. Let's see if we can see that okay. It's not black. It is a bit of a lighter color. And so it doesn't leap out quite so heavily on the page as a black ink does. And so this it shows up nicely on the page, but it's not so oomph. So let me actually, as in a comparison, what I used to write with, and I still do from time to time, is this is a Parker rollerball, and this is my former default writer. And so this is the rollerball. And as you can see, the fog gray sort of sinks into the background a bit. And I like that. I like the fact that it doesn't leap out quite so much. And so I'm using this pen, the Tiger's Eye, as my first draft pen for writing things down into my journals, coming up with stories, that kind of stuff. So what I can do is just do a quick thing where see the boy tried to get around the table, but the table moved into the way. And I have no idea what this is referring to. It's just a little bit of a scene. Boy tried to get around the table, but the table moved into the way. So now I can make some notes. And so I have a couple of different, these are, there we go. These are Pilot Petites. One has a bit of a fainter ink, or a, what would be the term? Oh, it's not quite so visible. The term is escaping me. So I can use this to make notes, and I'm just going to say, describe boy. Okay, and so this is so this is the Diamine Bliss ink. This is a fine nib as well. So describe the boy. And if I want to have a note that pops out just a little bit more, and so I'm going to just highlight here, the table moved. Make sure to say why. Okay, so this is this ink is a little bit brighter, and it is the Hiroshizuku Yamabudo. Okay, so those are my note inks, and then this last one, this is it writes like an extra fine, and I've got a lighter ink in it. So how about we try a different scene? Okay, so this is what ink is this? This is the Hiroshizuku Tsukushi. And this is also a Pilot Vintage. This is the silver. So yeah, so I'm using these in various odd ways. And so one is to first draft using the Tiger's Eye, and then as I make notes using my two the Petites, and even with the silver, I am able to edit and use different colors in that way. Another way that I'm using these is to, in my planner, let's see, planner up. If I've actually done it yet, give me 1 second. Nope, I didn't. So I haven't updated that yet. I'm gonna just come back to talking to the room. So one of the things that I am going to be using it for, and started to, let's see, music off. Oh, it's weird. 1 second. Oh, it's off now. Okay. Oh, I must have accidentally had the. Oh, I am very sorry. I wasn't seeing the comments. Apparently the music was on. Oops. Sorry. Better luck next. I'll do it next time. Anyways, the whole idea here is that I can use the my default pen, fountain pen, and use it as a first draft. And then I've got a couple of fountain pens that also provide for highlighting and notes, and it's helping me to edit stories and also to use it in my like my to-do list calendar kind of thing. Yeah, so it's really helping. The other thing that is a very interesting thing is my handwriting has never been what has been known as good. And yet using the fountain pens, it's actually improved. And I don't know why exactly, if it's just simply that the pens fit better in my hand, because there's all sorts of different sizes and styles. Alicia is my my fountain pen guru, and so she has helped me find pens within her collection that work for my hand and my sensibilities. And so yeah, I think it's helping my handwriting, because I'm not forced into just a standard size roller ball or a ballpoint. Yeah, so anyway, if you are interested in having a little bit more just sort of on paper control of your creativity, your creative writing, your stories, your journaling, I'm going to encourage you to at least think about picking up a tool other than just simply a ballpoint pen. Fountain pens, I'm finding, are working really well for me. And yeah, and I'm going to continue to use them. And over subsequent lives, I'm sure I'll be talking about them here and there. Yeah, but it's good for me, and I'm enjoying them. Anyways, that is what I wanted to talk about. So the fountain pens, and also fantastical stories leading from ordinary prompts. So with that, I am going to thank you so much for joining me and making this part of your creative journey. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. Okay, bye for now. Oops, I forgot. I normally close things up with my haiku and my hashtags. Wow, I'm off today. Okay, the Drawing Expressions haiku, a creative space, holistically supportive. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you do share on social media, please hashtag with DX Live with Parz. Instagram and Facebook, I do look here and there, and so I hope to see your work out there. Anyways, with that, now I will say thank you so much for being a part of this, and I will see you next time.